Hey yo, welcome to another episode of Mr. Z and Fifth. I'm your host, Mr. Z Zacchaeus, and my host, co-host, the Fifth General. We're here for another episode.
Yeah.
Welcome, sister and brethren, for listening, for tuning in. And today's topic,
Yeah.
we're basically gonna reflect on Black History Month, and we just want to reflect because we know the month is going out, and we want to reflect on it as much about. Last week was a great show. We spoke about
Judas and the Black Messiah, the movie, and the legacy of Fred Hampton and his role with the Black Panthers.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're also going to talk about
we're
also going to talk about the recent things that affected the people of Texas, including myself, because I live in Houston. So the rolling blackouts due to the conditions that affected the power plants and the electric companies and all that. We'll get into all those details. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's what we Texas. Texas faced a hard got hit with bad weather.
Yeah.
And a black outage for those residents living in Houston.
No
Dallas,
power, no water. Yeah.
No power, no water, which was it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So we definitely gonna reflect on that, man, and reflect on my brethren that live in Houston, the Fifth General, man. And, we keeping in contact with each other, making sure that you got water, making sure that power came back on. So it's good to keep in contact with your loved ones, especially those who live in the Texas residents, and we just keep in contact. Every time a thing happen, like a bad weather tragedy happen, we always supposed to link up and call up your relative, you call up your friends, brethren, sisterin, relatives, to make sure that they're okay.
Right.
But yeah, man.
So as we're recording today is February 21st. So when people hear this episode, this upcoming Friday, it's gonna be like old news, but it's gonna be something that people are gonna be. It's current day stuff. As of February 21st, there's still people who don't have power and water, which is sad.
Wow.
So a lot of that stuff is still coming back. The weather and temperatures, and most of the state of Texas has warmed up. South Texas and the area of South Texas that I live in, Houston, is definitely a warmer temperature. Normal temperatures are how it would be every year, this time of year in the city of Houston, this part of Texas. So it wasn't a normal thing, obviously. It hasn't. Texas as a state doesn't typically see temperatures that cold. South Texas, which is a whole nother animal altogether. For those who are familiar with the state of Texas, is very big. It's very big.
Yeah.
It's big enough to have two different zones of weather. It's that big. Very similar to California. You have Northern California could be cold while Southern California can be hot. So it's very similar. North Texas can be cold while South Texas can be hot. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that,
Oh yeah. My goodness.
So they say Houston, it's been like They said it's been like since the 80s, since Houston has seen temperatures in the teens. So that was rare. No. I for one have lived in Dallas before, about a year or so ago. I know Dallas is North Texas. Dallas has its moments where it can get cold, but not like that cold. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've never been to Texas, but I heard that that the residents was like they're not used to that temperature when it gets 30 and 40 degrees. They're not used to that temperature, so when they're not prepared, the city's not prepared for that temperature. It has its own heating system, his own unit where it detaches from all the other states.
Yeah,
and they run their own.
So I'll explain it. Texas is independent. energy independent. So it's deregulated. It's not regulated by the government like rest of the country, right? This is why here you can have multiple electric companies that you pay for your electric, but all of those electric companies are connected to one particular power source or sources. So if the head of the main power source cuts it off, then it affects all customers. You know, it's like a good metaphor would be if AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint all got their service from one tower. They're all different companies, but if that tower powers down, all companies are affected. Like that, you know, the grid system is different. You know, in the East Coast and the West Coast, their grids are kind of shared between states. So, great example. Let's talk about New York, right? What happens in Buffalo wouldn't affect New York City. That's the difference. With Texas, because of how things are controlled, the Energy Council, ERCOT, it was in their position to basically decide about conserving energy and stuff like that. So they had control over that. Centerpoint, through them, they had control over that. So that's why, you know, people was living in Dallas and not having, and some in Dallas with no power, some in San Antonio with no power, some in Houston with no power. That's not good when something like that can be statewide. It's one thing if it's local, if it's city, dedicated to a block, a town, a neighborhood. But when you have something that affects the statewide, that's dangerous. Very dangerous, and it shows how vulnerable the state of Texas is. Yeah.
Yeah, man. People without so people without water, people without energy.
Yeah. So pray for those who still haven't recovered. You know, I'm thankful for my situation changed recently, but there are still people who are still affected by what's happening. Hopefully by the time this episode airs Friday, that won't be the case. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel with that. Hey, what did you want to expand on? Because you was talking about how Y.B.E from UGK and his opinion on what happened.
Well, Y.B.E was expressing on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, you see the golden era hip hop artist from Texas, Y.B.E, was expressing how Texas is run, and he was expressing how people are without power. Some people are without power. Some people are without water.
Right.
And how the city is run as far as like Ted Cruz and so forth and so forth. The officials.
Right. Ted Cruz is a senator.
Senator. Yeah. So the thing is that they have to show more concern. I know. Recently, I watched a video with the brother called Charlemagne the God talking about he gave him a donkey today with that he went over to Cancun with his family, and while the people was up in disarray in Texas, you know, as far as like,
his state that he represents, the
state that he represents, he ran the vacation, and how that is a hypocrite because he ridiculed Obama for playing golf at one time, and he just critiques people that when the time of disaster in the city you run, but yet he did the same thing, you know, and then come to turn around, I forgot, maybe it was him, I don't know who said it, maybe it was him. It said people gotta pull their bootstraps up and stop complaining and stop quarreling about what's going on. Just pull it and get it together. And man had to step down because you can't. Your job as an official is supposed to help people of your city. You're supposed to lend a hand and help the residents with the city that you represent. You're supposed to look out and for the welfare being of the people that live in your state
and
the state. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So by a comment like pull your bootstraps up and and, and stand up and stop crying and get up. That's not a leadership. Leaders should not be talking like that. You should be able to
Yeah, but sadly,
help
and sadly, people, and sadly, I don't mean to cut you off, but people forget that when election day comes for these guys, they still make sure that they stay in office. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Yeah.
Remember, And when election time comes up, when election time comes up, remember these things.
Yeah, but how soon they forget? But how soon they forget?
Exactly.
Though? Yeah, tragedy, man.
It's so quickly to forget.
Yeah.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, when you vote, remember these things. You can't ignore it. Then when we get a lot upset about voting and he's running for election again, then all of a sudden, oh yeah, vote for me. Remember their actions because your actions speak louder than words.
And man, some people.
That's what I gotta say about that.
Most people are sheep.
They're followers.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that they really don't have a mind of thinking of their own. I think if most people were quote unquote free thinkers, then they would be independent voters. Because that means you don't have an affiliation to either side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know? But anyway. But I digress. All right. So all right, you take the lead, brother. Lead us into the next subject.
Yeah, well, we're going to reflect on Black History Month. I just want to segue into Madam C.J. Walker, and those who've seen the film on Netflix called Self-Made, played by Octavia Spencer. You know, she's a great actress. She played in a movie called Help too. But I wanted to reflect on Madam C.J. Walker because
the Help.
Those who those who don't know who she is, she's a self-made one of the first as recorded
black female, millionaire,
black female self-made millionaire on hair products, on hair product, self-made millionaire. But you know, but in the early 1990s, she was born in 1867 in Louisiana. And when she died when she was only 51 in 1919. But I want to reflect on her life as being an entrepreneur and also applaud her for starting her own hair product. I mean, she got a little help from people in the town at the time in Louisiana. She got a little help, but she was able to use that help and she was able to transform it into something she can make a living off of it. And when she made the living off of selling these hair products, it didn't jump off at first because anything you start, it doesn't jump off at first. You got to work at it. You can't give up. And Madam C.J. Walker, she didn't give up. She kept working at the product. She kept working at it, and she kept working at it until she finally got the product, and she got one customer, two customer, and her clientele grew. Her clientele grew into something huge because at the time, in the early 1900s, black women wasn't pressing their hair so much at the time. So she came up with this hair supplement that would help have more control over black women hair. If your hair is coarse, she was able to supply the ingredient that will help have more self-control over your hair, pressing the hair and making it more manageable as far as the hair, according to her hair products. So she was able to sell the hair products and she was able to become a millionaire off of this thing because till her product grew so big that even after her death, the legacy continued. Her relatives continue pushing her hair products even into according to my reading, into the 1920s and into the 1930s, and it kept on growing after that because but she is that's why the movie is called Self-Made. She is the first black female, self-made millionaire in America. And not too much people talk about her, but she is something to be recognized in Black History Month, because a lot of us want to become entrepreneurs. A lot of us want to become, want to run our own business. It don't have to run and punch a clock. Nothing wrong with running and punch a clock, but sometimes when you have your own business, you control your own destiny. When you have your own business, and when you can make money and don't have to be dependent on a company to whether you get a check or not, you could. Madam C.J. Walker is a perfect example of that, because during that time, even I would say even way after that time, a lot of us had to rely on bosses and people creating jobs for us. But she is a true example of creating your own product and making it work and never giving up and pushing your product and getting it out there to the masses and making a living off of what it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes time to grow, and you never know where it could take you. So this is the time. During this pandemic time, there's a lot of people lost out of work. Either they're remote learning, or they lost their jobs due to this pandemic. Due to the pandemic. Yeah. But as you see, this is a moment in time where you could let Madam C.J. Walker be an example that you could create your own and go online and tap into different business ventures you could get into. As you tap into different business ventures, see what excites you, and see where whatever you do, whether it's selling clothing, whether it's selling products to help people, whether it's being creative as an artist, or being creative as maybe as an animation artist, and so forth. See what you could do to build your own business, and don't have to rely on anyone to have that one source of income. It's good to have more than one source of income, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment in time where you never know. Because due to the pandemic, you never know. Things fold, things close up, and you need some income. You need to feed your family. And this, as Madam C.J. Walker did that. She took something small and she created it, and she made it blossom. She never gave up on it. As you can see from the film, and due to my reading, if you look up Madam C.J. Walker, it took her a few years to get her product off the ground and to get and to grow her clientele. Started in her home. She started selling the product from her home, and she made it from scratch. The hair product from scratch, and she started selling it from her home. And then word gets around, because back then there was no social media. Back then in the early 1900s, there was no social media. Like, there wasn't social media since the early 2000s, like that.
There was no internet. There was no computer.
No internet. Yeah. No computers. Exactly. No internet. No computer. They back then, even at the time we were growing up, Jay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to spread the word.
Yeah.
You spread the word, and if one person like your product, they spread it, and then they continue, and then more than two people like your product, and then they spread it, and just spread the word. But now we have power right now. You have power in your hands. Where, when I say power in your hands, I mean internet, social media, all these tools we have to grow our business, and it doesn't cost so much. Madam C.J. Walker had to get money to even create, how develop a way how to get the news out about her product. We don't have to do that today. We could just put it online, and we could just go get ads and put it online and just push our products, and that's it. We don't have to do footwork like what you did, carrying a cart around, going on the street and trying to sell your product off the street, and sell your product on the street, and trying to sell it from your home and then try to sell it on the street. Today, we don't have to do that. Now, remember how, Jay, Fifth, remember how you used to sell CDs? How CDs were sold back then?
Tapes. You know what
Tapes,
I'm saying?
cassettes, and DVD and CDs.
Yeah.
If you had music, you had to sell it on the street.
Yeah.
You know, if you had if you have music that you recorded, you sell it on the street.
Yeah.
Sell, big up to Master P that sold cassette tapes. CDs from his car. Because back then there was no social media when Master P did that, and he created No Limit. You see,
right?
So by these people, we could get encouraged and inspired by even reading about their stories, and we can push our own product out, so we don't have to be dependent on one source of income. We can have two sources of income and more than one source of income, and let people, this is Black History Month, let people like Madam C.J. Walker, Master P, and the list goes on of selling your own product and creating something out of it and pushing it to the masses. But now we have the tools in our hands, we can get it out there easy. All I do is it's just like a push from a button.
Yeah.
Go online, get on your phone and sell your product, and that's it. It's as simple as that, and you'd be surprised at how much people the clientele you get, so and I started that to myself, because I realized that, listen, one source of income is tough, man. I mean, let's face it, you wait bi-weekly for your check, some people wait weekly for their check, and you gotta wait for that one source of income. No, and I said, listen, why not become your own boss and create your own source of income? And that's the way to do it. We don't have to be broke every week, but we can create our own source of income by creating whatever God has given us to create our own product and pushing it out there and selling it. So this Black History Month, I want to reflect this today. I want to reflect on Madam C.J. Walker, and I applaud her as a Black American historian. Yeah.
So now beyond that, in terms of actually, to expand on this, you got people out here who do the things that you mentioned, right? They have a product, and things don't work out the way they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, what's your advice for these people seeking help to help strengthen their brand and stuff like that? Because we have product. You have your own product, individual product. This podcast is a product. You know what I'm saying? We have music together as well. That's a product. So what would you say for those who actually need help in terms of actually getting that product out there in today's era? With all with the fact that everybody has it, and also respecting the fact that you have to have competition. And we're talking about Black business, right? Black business has the hardest fight.
Yes.
So speak on that.
Yeah. They have advisors, and they have small business owner advisors, and they have business advisors. But you got to be careful because you have to be careful because not only paying people money to push your product, but we have to do our research. We have to do our homework and research, because the thing is that if you go online, if you go on Facebook, or if you go on Instagram, they do have people that can help, that come on Facebook and Instagram and talk about pushing your product. And they do have that. They have great advice to push your product, and they have good tools, and they have so try to tap into some of those tools where they have small business owners. They have and they advise people on how to push whatever it is, whether it's a podcast, they have that, they have it for that. But music is a different. Music is different, but it's also similar because they have marketing, they have marketing and promotional tools for music. Now for your small business, they have small business advisors that can help you, but be careful of giving them so much money because at this, I'm not gonna call it a name. I went online to get some advice on how to push my business, and they have some people they beat you in the head with the prices as far as how to push your product and where to push your product. I mean, you shouldn't have to pay $5,000 so I could get my product pushed to the masses. It's not guaranteed to get pushed to the masses. Be careful, but also be careful of their prices. I would say go with somebody that's reasonable, that could give you advice and how to push your product to get it out there and how to market your product and knowledge and how to market your product and get it out to the masses and to get your product more marketable and more to the masses to populate your product and to get it out there. That's my advice for that, you know. But be careful because not everybody is genuine, you know. So just do your homework on them. Do your research and also tap into advice. You know, they have webinars on small businesses. They have webinars on how to push your product. They have webinars on how to advance your product and how to get it out there and how to market it and tools you need to use to market your product. They have webinars. I would say this is the era of this 2020, 2021. This is the era of webinars. I never see so much webinars out yet. Like this day, like this era. There's so much webinars.
Well, I would say it's took an advantage more because of COVID. So there's a lot of things that would be in person that's not in person anymore. Well, it's limited at this time. So you have Zoom and other companies, StreamYard, other things. Not to promote them like that, but I'm just saying people are using that. You know what I'm saying? Private video sessions, as far as like you said, advisement, counseling, and all that type of stuff. So you start to see a lot of people doing the webinar classes and stuff because otherwise it would be in person. It would be a person. It'd be a meeting room somewhere, a theater or something like that.
Yes,
but that's probably why. Right, that's why you're seeing more of an influx of that, and the demand for internet and internet speeds and internet connectivity and consistency. The demand is higher because of that.
Oh yeah, yes, and that's another thing. There's a lot of classes on billing websites, and not only billing websites, but also online. A lot of online work. Yeah, because of the pandemic, there's a lot of online skills you could pick up, editing skills. So a whole lot you can embark on, and you can learn. You know, this let me see. Last year, 2020, I learned illustrations. I learned Photoshop. Mm-hmm. Just learning just this month. Yeah, I know. Just this last year, 2020. You know, so there's a lot of things. There's a lot of online stuff. I mean, but I know that online jobs is the biggest thing going now. You know,
yeah, a lot of people working from home.
Yes, yeah, due to this pandemic, there's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot with that. You know,
well, so that will continue. Yeah. That will continue. Beyond just 2020, 2021, I believe.
Yes. Well, it's a lot, man.
Well, because if you're able to gain income just from the comfort of your own home for the most part, I mean, that's something that people have been doing before COVID, but a lot of businesses, small businesses, and even big businesses had to adjust to a less physical contact type of business.
Yeah.
Some have shut down because they're not able to, and some have been able to come up with alternatives to stay afloat. So you've seen businesses either defunct completely, or you've seen some new businesses create with this present situation and the concept that they've been able to still have a business. Like your example of an online business.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So people have put more time and focus into that.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is also convenient too, because for a lot of parents out there, it's convenient, especially if you're a single parent or so.
Right.
It's convenient to put. I think it's convenient for everybody. What do you think, Fifth? It's convenient for everybody to have your own business online and push.
I believe so.
Push.
Yeah. I believe that's I believe that resource is very well underappreciated. You know what I'm saying? And it could be because of the I'm trying to find the words here. I mean, it could be because the access is like a luxury, treated more of a luxury than a necessity.
Yeah,
treated more of a necessity, then people will know, hey, this is definitely the avenue that we need to go. And I'm learning that myself. You know what I'm saying? And look, what we do is online, man. We got a podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have music, that's on, you can stream it, on all platforms. Shameless plug, Zach Keeson, the Fifth General. The Example came out back in 2015. Still holds up to this day. You know what I'm saying? Streaming on all platforms such as iTunes, Tidal, and Spotify. But anyway.
Yes.
Now you have something. We're going to actually wrap this up pretty soon. You have merchandise and that you have been doing for a couple of months now.
Oh, yes.
Please use whatever time you need to promote that product and how people can get it.
All you got to do is go to Zaccheus, ZACCHEUS. That's Zaccheus B73.com. The same link like my Instagram, Zaccheus B73.com. And I have I started doing that a few months ago, like late 2020, because I said if I have music, Caribbean music, and I have albums out. I have an album with the Fifth General, The Example. I have My Light Shine. I have a few singles I put out with Caribbean music, gospel reggae, soca, gospel reggae. And I said, and I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I love clothes. I like to dress and I like clothes. So I said, how about embarking on or thinking about opening my own or having my own online clothing line, my own online clothing store.
Yeah.
I thought about that and I said, and something clicked in my head, because there was a brother named Mike Nielsen that he's very big on Black entrepreneurship, very big on that. And he's very big on, his testimony was very big about how he got fired from his job. He put in 20 years he graduated from college, put in 20 years at his job, and then he got fired. Just like that. He got, when he had kids, he didn't know what he was gonna do. So what he did was he looked at some clothes and he said, wait a minute. And he walked into a store and thought about, well, if they could sell clothes, I could sell clothes too. And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? That was a very powerful testimony he had. If he could do that, I could do it too. So I said, you know what? Why not? And I can, because all I had was one source of, I had like a few sources of, I was making little money off of the music that we had, but I said, you know what? Why not get another source of income? And I said to myself, why not, instead of waiting on sometimes people only wait on they depend on rely on just one source of income or two sources. Why not get another source of income and make money off of that? So every week I have money in my pocket. So that's what I did. And I said, you know what? I love clothes, and this would be fun for me to get into selling Merc. You know, I have the jump for Jesus, the red, yellow, and green Jump for Jesus hoodies. I first started selling T-shirts.
Yeah.
Jump for Jesus T-shirts, with the with all different colors, because I love colors. All different colors.
Right.
You can name it, but T-shirts. And it's Jump for Jesus T-shirts. With the red, yellow, and green, the Rasta color. And I said, I love, since I'm a reggae artist and a soca artist, I said, you know what? Why don't I embark on these colors? So I said, and since I believe in Jesus Christ and we follow the Lord, so I said, you know what? Let me just see what I could do. I sat down and I drew it first.
Right.
I drew it. I love art. I drew it and I just put it together, and I said, you know what? I could see this on a product. I could see this on a Merc. And I did that. Same thing. I have another logo called Save the World. I created that logo in a class. I was taking a illustration class in college, and I said, you know what? And the professor loved the logo. It's called Save the World, and I made it relating to the pandemic, because I said, you know what? Everybody can, not just Christians, but everybody can relate to that. Save the world. The world with a big sad face, and they got two people, a male and a female, black male and female, embracing the world. Yeah, and I said, and I put that on a T-shirt, and I said, you know what? That would look good on it. That would look good on a shirt. So I tried those two logos, and I created shirts, T-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve T-shirts. Now I have sweatpants, the fitted sweatpants, Save the World's fitted sweatpants, and Jump for Jesus sweatpants. So I said, you know what? Why don't I embrace that and try to push the product out? And I did that, and still doing it, still selling it. So if you're interested, Y.B.E 73.com. You know, hit me up. You could definitely, you could get all my links. That's my link right there, man. I mean, that's it right there. Y.B.E 73.com. And right. You can see, yeah, man. So
what would you say the style and theme and inspiration is for the type of clothing that they buy? Because you said T-shirts and sweatpants and hoodies. So is this stuff that people could wear to work out in, wear casually, you know, to just, you know, go to the store or whatever? Or like, what would you say it's most fitting for?
Everyday wear. Like, this is everyday wear because you can work out in it. Because I know I had a few people that I knew that bought the T-shirts to work out in, Save the World T-shirts to work out in, and the hoodies is just to keep you warm. Because if you live in a cold climate, you're gonna need hoodies. And the long sleeve T-shirts, it's up to you. If you want to wear a short sleeve, you can wear a short sleeve.
Right.
So the theme is more casual, everyday wear, and it's also a workout wear. So it's fitness, it's for working out, and also for everyday wear. If you wanna wear a sweat hoodie, you can wear sweat hoodies. You can run in that. You can wear it as a style. You can style in it because the hoodies are stylish. The hoodies are very comfortable. Very, very comfortable. I have some. There's very comfortable hoodies, long sleeve T-shirts, and the regular T-shirts you can work out in, or just wear it, or just wear it as a style. So I just made so my whole approach to this is everyday wear, because I wear hoodies, I wear T-shirts, and I wear sweatpants, you know. So I was so sad when models went out of business. Well, I think they're online though. But my point is like everyday wear. If you want everyday wear, you can hit up my website. If you want everyday wear. If you want to work out, you can hit up my website. I got even the sleeveless T-shirts to work out in. You know, the muscle sleeveless T-shirts to work out in the summertime. You know, or like for anybody can get it in any. You can get it anywhere. I mean, you could go to my website and it could be shipped to you from anywhere you want, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. my clothes can be shipped to you, you know? So yeah. So ZacchaeusB73.com. Check it out, y'all.
Yeah. All right. Just give all your social media handles out, and we're gonna get up out of here.
Yeah, you can hit me up at ZacchaeusB73 on Instagram. Also, you can hit me up on Facebook, Wayne Zacchaeus Bacchus on Facebook. Also on Twitter, Wayne Bacchus 2 on Twitter. Definitely.
All right. You can holler at me at the fifth on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Fifth General. We'll see y'all next time for another exciting episode of Mrs. Z and Fifth. This is season 3, episode 2. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Next time. Peace.
Yeah.